Is Strictly Come Dancing a waste of energy? Welcome to Mark and Pete Live. I'm Pete, the clergyman. With me, as ever, is Mark, the businessman. What have you got for us this week, Mark?
What's dancing around in my brain is the fact that we seem to be obsessed with compulsive viewing on dance shows. What is so compulsive? The idea of looking at Strictly Come Dancing, dancing on ice. Are we being led a dance? To me, it seems almost absurd. Watching people prance around trying to master the art of a tango or a waltz or a rumba, dare I say. But the thing here is it to me, this idea of an adult jiggling about in that sort of rather provocative fashion is rather amusing. So, Clergyman Pete, I ask you, there is a serious side to this, which is that if you have absolutely no ability to dance, it seems
Yeah.
as though you are seen as a lower citizen. You are ostracized, especially
Mm.
if you're invited to parties.
Yes, there were certain situations where dancing seems to be seen as a necessity, or at least you need to at least have some proficiency at it to fit in. And it seems unreasonable to me that one particular skill, or the lack of it in your case, should allow people to judge you. Surely the content of your character would be more appropriate.
Yes. Well, that might score me down a little bit, possibly.
That's it. Yeah.
However, this is my view on the matter. So here's a thought. Strictly for the professionals, a romantic dance can let your inhibitions dangle as your rhythmic confidence begins to leap until your twinkle toes all entangle and you end up in a heap. Yes, Clergyman Pete, it should be strictly for the professionals. I understand that many people have mastered the art of jigging and poking and dancing around in this peculiar fashion, and I do admit there's many hours that are put into it, and some people do it very, very well. But I do have to think about some of the amusing ideas going back many, many decades when people were in the going to discos, and of course the old John Travolta dancing, he did it very well. I mean, he mastered the art
Yeah,
superbly. But
sure.
when I saw people doing this in the discos, for these are just general public, apart from many eye poking and elbow bashing, it just seemed rather odd and amusing to me that people got themselves entangled in a bit of
Yes.
a mess.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. Yes, uh, you shouldn't feel under any pressure to dance. That's what I think.
I'm
Now,
not.
uh, no, but you see, the thing is, people are they're pressured into dancing. Now,
Yes.
let's just talk about dancing just for a bit. Dancing is in lots of different forms, and it's been part of culture for a long time. Different cultures for a long time. There are different
Oh, yes.
meanings to different dances. Uh, it's been a way for men and women to get together
Yeah.
for a long, long time. As well as a sort of an outlet for physical exertion. Dancing is part of physical exertion, and
Mhm.
part of appreciation of music is dancing as well for
Of
many
course.
people. But just speaking personally, I don't see it. I'm not a big fan of music anyway, but I listen to some music. But I never feel under any compulsion to dance to it.
No.
However,
Well,
here I just one point is that the the decision that there's something wrong with you if you're no good at dancing, or at least you go down a peg or two in people's estimation if you won't dance. Some of that is to do with the idea that you're somehow shy or lack
mm,
confidence because you don't dance. Now, I'm perfectly happy to dance, and I have done it very badly, but doesn't bother me. I'm not a shy individual,
no,
including physically. I'm very
no.
happy to do that. I just don't enjoy it. It's not something that I would enjoy. So I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about that
Well,
because people themselves are shy about it. They put that onto other people and then
there
think,
is
oh,
the
I
there
think the
is the
reason you're not dancing is because you're shy.
well, there is the worry of, dare I say, and possibly you may be guilty of the dad dance. Meaning,
Hmm. Well,
it's
I am a
slightly
dad, so
uncoordinated,
yeah.
slightly incongruous to the music. But what I do think in the article, which we've seen on many, many internet websites, which is about the idea of the shiny floor of magic, particularly on things like Strictly Come Dancing, opens up the world to celebrities who do this. Now, I do appreciate that some of these celebrities are actually trained dancers, or they are natural presenters and can actually adapt. There are a lot of people, and it does remind me, and I will say I'm not an avid viewer of this particular show, and I
No,
don't want to
no.
give it too much credibility, but when John Sargent, the former political correspondent, came along and did it a few seasons ago, I did have to say it caught my attention, but for all the wrong reasons, purely for the amusement value. Now, of course, he did get through and he got the public vote, but he eventually didn't become the winner, thank goodness. But the fact is that I do think that there is an expectation if you have music and if you go to an event, it could be a corporate event or it may be a personal event where somebody comes up to you and say, "Oh, go on, have a dance." You're not getting into the mood, and you suddenly think, "I don't want to do that." Um,
Yeah.
I don't want to be. I don't know, Mr. Chairman. I do not want to squeeze your wife and dance around, drag
Well,
her around the room.
here we have an issue to do with amateur dancing, people who aren't
Yes,
paid for it, people who maybe don't know how to dance. Now, say you were shy, and that's the reason you didn't want to dance. How is that a bad thing?
yes,
You may not want to do that, and you shouldn't be pressured into doing it. But of course, professionals in dancing, uh, it's a form of entertainment. Some would say art, ballet, for example, or a ballroom dancing. There are plenty of professionals who
oh yeah,
dance that particular mode of dancing, and that's a form of entertainment. So people will like it. Of course, they should watch it. I mean, there are other forms of entertainment that I don't personally watch. For example, all the output of the BBC, because obviously Mark and Pete episodes are far better. But
indeed,
I don't. There's certain things that I don't watch. I'm not interested in entertainment, but that doesn't mean that I don't think it should be done, or I would look down on people simply because they didn't appreciate the forms of entertainment that I like, or
yes,
that they're not good at them. They're not good at them. No, we are both big fans of comedy, Mark. So we,
yes. Which is why we follow Boris Johnson.
yeah, and we're quite good at it. I mean, this isn't specifically a comedy podcast, as you can probably tell, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
But we can basically handle cracking jokes, but some people can't. That doesn't mean that they should be looked down on because and say, "Oh, you've got no sense of humor. You're terrible." And so, dancing, coming into into this position where you can be regarded almost as a social pariah because you refuse to dance,
oh
uh,
yeah.
that's just nonsense, isn't it? That
Well,
just
it is, but I think that dancing is something that we've been doing for thousands of years. But the thing
yeah,
here
sure,
is, I would say, dare I say, it's been hijacked. And what I
right,
mean by this is that many people dance because it was either a war dance, it was a method in which people sort of displayed their
yeah,
particular values in terms of against, whether it be Red Indians war dancing, whether it be a rain dance because
yeah,
they
yeah.
were
I was thinking that.
hoping for and praying for rain. And in some cases, dancing is a ritual. I know that in modern terms, the idea that if, say, a couple get married, they do the first dance is
Yeah,
given to the bride and the groom, and they dance. Now, I can understand in those sort of ritual terms where it's controlled and it's for a purpose, because it's either celebrating something or it's actually something which is ceremonial. I can see the point of that, but what I find really still is I think it's diluted entertainment. That's probably this is where I think I'm having a bit of a struggle. I've seen people dancing across the screens too much now. Is there something else that can replace it? I mean, is there another way of maybe sort of getting these people out of the spangly suits? And is it not
well, the
just
thing is,
cheap entertainment?
I don't think there is a way to stop it because people enjoy it. You see, and I
Oh,
don't see any signs of it being reduced. I think people are enjoying it more and more. I think it's becoming more popular,
so I should be
if
dancing
anything.
around the office in
Yeah,
in my business suit,
yeah.
and you should be dancing
No,
around the
I don't
pulpit.
mind people dancing. It's a
Oh,
bit for me. I just say my opinion. See whether the listeners and viewers think this. For me, when I'm not a big fan of a particular art form or a different type of entertainment, such as dancing, I still like it when it's part of something else. Let me give you
yes,
another example. Music. I don't often listen to music,
yeah,
but
indeed.
if it's part of the track part of the soundscape for a movie, then of course I will be listening to it. It's
Yeah.
part of something else. And in the same way, when so people, singers who I like Fred Astaire, for example. Now, of
Oh
course, he's
yes.
most known for his dancing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes he's dancing and singing, and I enjoy that because it's part of the overall performance. So it's not that dancing is something that I don't like at all. I wouldn't go, say, for example, to see a ballet or just to see someone dancing. In the same as usually, I wouldn't just go and listen to a popular music artist singing, or I wouldn't do that. But as part of something else, it is enjoyable. So that's where I see the dancing fits in,
Yeah.
and you could argue that a lot of the fight scenes in movies are actually dancing. Particularly, there's a relatively new movie out done by Marvel Studios called Shang-Chi, which uses the kung fu or similar Oriental styles of dancing in sorry, styles of fighting in it, which are really dancing. And
Mm.
so dancing comes into other genres of art and entertainment where I do appreciate it. But dancing by itself, as something to look at and admire, well, no, he doesn't do anything for me. But I don't know where you stand on this. I was using art and entertainment interchangeably because to me they are pretty much the same. In that you can say for someone's art, you don't understand it, or someone's entertainment, it doesn't entertain you. That's not saying that it's bad or bad art or bad entertainment. It's just that it's not for me. It's purely, in other words, subjective in my view.
Yes. Well, I would hope that, and I would like to appeal to the to the rest of the world, that if they do happen to see me about, and we're in that awful situation where, for example, as Engelbert Humperdinck once said, "I'll save the last dance for you. Please
Mm.
don't ask me."
Yes. Yes. Well, I think, yes, if someone sees me dancing, then just look around who has the gun stuck in my back, because there won't be any other reason. Well, I guess that's all we've got time for this time. But do let us know in the comments, where are you on dancing? Is it great? Is it awful? Do you ever dance? And we'd love to hear amusing stories of you refusing to dance, because sometimes it can really stir up people's ire. But until next time, it's goodbye from Mark and myself. Have a good time, and remember, always come back each week for a new episode of Mark and Pete. I mean, that's where the real entertainment is.